Today in class we looked at markups, markdowns, and discounts. So I'm going to do a couple of example problems, and again, remember from class that there are multiple ways you can do this problem. The markup, markdown, and discount process that we learned in class is simply the quickest way to accomplish the problem. So if it's simpler for you to do it one of the ways we learned the previous 2 days, then feel free to do it that way. I want you to be able to understand the process, not necessarily understand every way that we do this type of markup or markdown using of proportions. But I am going to show you the way that we learned in class for those of you that are still continuing to practice it. So what is the price of a $600 computer with an 80% markup? Remember that 80% markup means that it is 80% in addition to the cost of the computer. So we talked about adding 100% plus 80% to determine that we are trying to figure out what 180% of the price of the computer is. Well, now I have some is and of statements that I can work with. 180%, I don't need the percent sign anymore, over 100 of the price of the computer. So 600 will go in my of position. And now I can cross multiply. 600 times 180. Well, that equals 108,000. 100 times x equals 100x. Divide both sides by 100, and we determine that x equals $1,080. So a markup would cost $1,080. Number 5. This one was a little bit more complex. Not that it was more difficult. It just asked you for 4 different separate pieces of the problem. Well, this is just like any other of the problems. I just broke the solution process up into 4 little pieces so that you could figure out how each piece interrelates. So a company receives 500 shirts and will be billed $20 per shirt. The company is going to mark up the shirt price by 40%. So if I have a shirt that's $20 and I mark the price up, it started at 100% is $20. 40% markup would be 140%. And so again, I cross multiply. 140 times 20 is 2,800 equals 100x. And so x equals 28. Well, 28 is not the profit made on a single shirt. Rather, 28 is how much my shirt will be marked up to. So I would say 28 is the amount my shirt's marked up to minus 20 equals $8. So $8 is my profit. And then we just discussed what's the selling price of a single shirt. Well, we found that in the previous problem. $28. If the company sold every shirt, what is the amount of money it would receive? Well, there were 500 total shirts times the $28 profit equals $14,000. What would be the total profit for the company would make for selling every t-shirt? Well, we need this information above, but we also need to figure out how much they paid for the shirts initially. There were 500 shirts, and they paid $20 per shirt. So 500 times 20 equals 10,000. Now 10,000 certainly isn't the profit, because the profit would be the difference between how much I paid for the shirts and how much I sold the shirts for. Well, if I paid 10,000 and I sold 14,000 worth, then the difference is $4,000. Now one for marking down. Sam buys a collector's car for $300,000. He then marks up the price by 35%. So I want to figure out what is 135% of 300,000. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's some really big number. Let's see, that would be 40,500,000. Equals 100x. Well, we then divide by 100, and our x equals 405,000. Well, then the problem continues to say that 2 months later, no one has purchased the car. So Sam marks the current selling price. Well, currently it's 405,000, down by 8%. So now I want to decrease the value. We already know how to take 8% of a number, and I could subtract that from 405. But again, we're practicing markups and markdowns. In the markup-markdown process, I take 100%, subtract 8%, gives me 92. So I want to know what 92% of 405 is. So again, I will cross multiply 92 times 405. And then I will divide by 100, and x would equal $372,600. So as we can see, he's still likely to make quite a bit of profit on his vehicle if he can sell it for the $372,600.